Hello everyone, Mario the Pie Man here with some more Star Trek Online. Now look who's back. Why, it's Duug. You can't see him at the moment because we've just got this Franklin Drake lad, but to let you know what Doug's been up to, he's got a different ship. At the moment we are flying a nice TOS styled Pioneer class, not Pioneer, sorry, a Ranger class called the USS Grampian. I actually really like this configuration of ship. It's one that I quite enjoyed, so yes, here he is again. I will apologise if there's problems with the sound mix or anything else. I'm still getting the new rig sorted out. So yeah, I've brought him back. Now why, this is one of the other side missions. Remember I said, now you might notice Drakara at the moment has been doing or has done the Deep Space Nine, depending on when these things actually come out, set of missions, which are kind of an additional. You don't have to do them, they won't pop up unless you look for them. This is another arc. This is actually one I really like. It was one of the sort of earlier new arcs added to the game, and this one's called Spectres. Now we've just been in contact with this lad Franklin Drake, who apparently needs a job with our specific set of skills. So yeah, like I say, Duug has been working through the game, same as Drakara, but I'm setting him off on a different path. Incidentally, all my alts will do these other missions. It's just when. So.
I expect you to be efficient and discreet. Don't disappoint me.
Well, I'm going to say, who did you report to? Is it Starfleet Intelligence?
Not exactly. I represent an organization devoted
not
to
Section
protecting the
31.
Federation from all threats, internal and external. Some call us Section 31.
You guys are more trouble than you're worth. You made a terrible film.
Our methods of defense have been called extreme, even barbaric. But those who oppose us are simply being naive. Cling to your ideals.
I will.
Will they protect you from the Klingons?
Yes.
What about the board?
Probably.
Do you honestly think you can come to some sort of peaceful understanding with the collective?
Maybe.
Of course not. My organization understands the dangers, and we're prepared to face them. You have been identified as someone who can be of use. It would be unfortunate for both of us if that is not the case.
Okay.
Until next time.
Alright, so Skirmish.
We have reports of a true-wave fleet entering the neutral zone and picking a fight with the Klingons near the Donatu system.
Oh, right.
Having two of our enemies fight is good for the Federation, but I want to know why the True Way is so far out of their territory. Intercept them and deal with them. If you need to engage the Klingons as well, do so. A Starfleet task force has already been sent to the area. You'll need to join them in the Donatu system as soon as possible.
Okay.
Until next time.
So this is where we've headed. Oh. If I remember, I think it's the go-to, not the patrol, that we pick. So yeah, we've been sent to Donatu. Now, why I've picked Duug for this mission will hopefully become apparent. But I'm going to keep my powder dry in this one for now. So Tarsy's on my screen. Captain, I'm picking up multiple hostile contacts, both Klingon and True Way. Yeah, there's one there. Klingon literally roaming about. I can understand the Klingons being here. They've been trying to claim the system for months. But why the True Way don't normally leave Cardassian space? They've no reason to be here. They're refusing to respond to our hail, sir. We may have to board the ships to get some answers. Well, oh, now the Klingons start attacking. Kind of getting jumped there. Sadly, the Klingons seem to have spawned in right over us. A couple of Federation ships over there in the distance. Far a lot of good they're doing us. We've respawned in a more sensible place. Do this bit of fighting here. Now the Grampian is a temporal battle cruiser, it's a tier 5 ship at the moment. Attack ships. One of the things that I liked when they made the Trueway was they had some Jem'Hadar with them. You get the idea that they're working with some kind of local dominion. Extra features on this one, shall I say. I didn't avoid those torpedoes particularly well, but of course my buddies have finally joined in. How can we tell this ship's important? Because it has a name, the Axon. So... got to disable this one. There we go. That's it disabled. Tarsy's up again. The Cardassian flagship, the Axon, has been disabled. Warpcore stable, recommend we get a closer look. Away team standing by, we can leave in your orders. Yeah, let's beam there. Captain Cardassian security teams are already starting to move in our position. We should expect heavy resistance. Okay. Oh, yep. Yep, there's one called Gil. Now, the upshot is there's not many places you can go on this ship. There's not sort of leftover stuff, and if I remember we don't... Oh no, we do have a temporal probe to look for. So, I have to keep an eye out for that. So, we'll get to this room with a wobbly thing in it. Yeah, I've just set the floor on fire. How do you like that, interrogator? I'm just carrying the jelly. I wonder what this thing is. Hi. Disable the force field, so that's our next mission. That should take care of the security measure between us and the bridge. I don't expect the Cardassians to give up that easily. Probably send more security teams to intercept us. Well, there you go. But I suppose that's gameplay for you. Yep, sure enough, there's a Glynn. All those security teams didn't take much. Curious. There are some anomalies in the area. Oh. What the... Something's happening there. Hopefully I've muted that. I do have a bit of a cough going on here. Yes. So Tarsi said, Captain, did you see that? Yes, I did. There were blue guys. That was weird. Something is afoot. Oh, is it tritium gas? No. No, pressed the wrong button there. Let's investigate the dead Cardassian. So to Meta, our science officer, saying, Captain, what are those things? Sir, this Cardassian doesn't have any wounds on him, but my readings show he was dead before we entered the room. I recommend we find a medikit and perform an examination of the corpse. We need to know more about what happened to him. If he was attacked by these creatures, we need to be cautious. Any contact may be lethal. So we've got to get to the med bay and gather some tools. That's a bit spooky. There it was again. Is there something wrong with the environmentals in this ship? So first, I can investigate the dead Cardassian. Sir, this Cardassian looks to have died from the same cause as the Cardassian we examined in the main hall. We need to use the medikit to find what So first what we have to do is read these patient records. So, first one. First patient was admitted with severe laceration suffered while working in engineering. The wound was closed using an auto suture, and the patient was released with instructions to refrain from active duty and return within 24 hours. Patient returned complaining of headache, elevated body temperature, and nausea. White cell count was elevated, and preliminary analysis showed signs of systematic infection, resulting from contamination of the wound site. Patient was held in sick bay, however the infection spread rapidly and the treatment with standard biotics was unsuccessful. More rigorous treatment regime was formulated but also proved unsuccessful. Patient's vital functions ceased, cause of death circulatory system failure regarding sepsis. Patient body has been prepared for transportation back to Cardassia Prime. So he got a cut. Let's see this one. Patient admitted complaining of pain and inability to concentrate and assign duties, was treated with hydrocortisone and was told to rest. Psychological evaluation was scheduled. Patient returned several hours later saying that neither medication nor rest had helped. Retrieved a larger dose of hydrocortisone and admitted to sick bay for observation during the fell ill and was unable to be revived. Autopsy was conducted during a neurolite probe to obtain a sample of brain tissue. Examination did not show any signs of infection or trauma that would result in headaches or fatality. Cause of death remains undetermined. Now, those are highlighted if you've not noticed. So, there's one complaining of extreme nausea and fatigue. Exams were inconclusive, held overnight. Patient died at 23:52. Quarantine protocols placed at ceiling orders, put at level 8 force field to prevent the spread of unknown, possibly infectious agent. Force field may not be disabled without force field authorization. An autopsy was conducted using a laser scalpel. All organs were intact, showed no signs of trauma. Nothing to explain, so cause of death remained under investigation. And look, here's our temporal probe, so might as well scan that while we're here. Silly puzzle we have to do for the temporal probe. Oh, it's this one where we've got to try and find the words. So I'm looking for wiggle, coil, or princess. There's coil. Next one, dance, Vulcan, or steam. Vulcan, there it is. That was an easy one. Last one, wilting, logarithm, or huge. Could be huge. Looks like this probe could be collecting data on the Davidians. Ooh, who are the Davidians? It's a bit of a spoiler there. Timet. Considering the skill at time travel, I can see the Nukul's interest. There's evidence suggesting the Nukul are trying to communicate. Some legions we don't need happening. So we've salvaged some components, so that got us some stuff. There we go. That's the temporal probe bit done. Got to read a few more patient records, and then we can investigate the dead Cardassian. So who's this one? Patient fractured tibia suffered the holodeck, bone splintered. Patient returned later complaining of pain. Elevated body temperature, was treated with a T-stealth simulator to stave off infection. Should have done that with the other guy. Patient continued to worsen, and so they're continuing to treat to boost their immune response. Patient died 6.2 hours. Due to an extreme rate of deterioration, patient infection is unlikely for a contagious agent, has resulted in quarantine being enacted. Cause of death will be determined. So people are dying. I'm not quite sure what. Now the idea of this is each one has a highlighted medical tool. We've got one more to look at. This one, plasma burn caused by an exploding EPS conduit. Wound was treated using a protoplasma and admitted for sick bay with sedation. Suffered a neurological event resembling a cardiovascular accident while sedated and was unable to be resuscitated. So basically the only one with an unknown cause of death is the one who had the neurolite probe. So what we should do is investigate the dead Cardassian. We pick use medkit and we'll pick the neurolite probe. So it tells you what it is. That tool should give us a better insight into the cause of death of the Cardassian in the mess hall. If we can use the neurolite probe to obtain a sample of the Cardassian's brain tissues, we might be able to determine the cause of death. So we'll investigate. The neurolite probe has determined this individual died from a radical decrease in neural energy. It's almost if he was drained by an outside source. All the brain's activity came to a stop and was depleted. There's a great deal of interference being picked up with the tricorder, most likely results as an energy residue of what was used to do the Cardassian. But we can track it down using the energy trail. Science lab across the hall might have access to the ship's internal sensors. So that's what we're going to do now, is go to the science lab and see if we can track this thing. what will we scan for? We've got a thing of different ones. Let's try electroplasma. Tells you a bit about electroplasma. I'm not going to read everything here. Scan's picking up high levels of the ship, but that's surprising since the Cardassians use purely shielded EPS relays. Try again. Nuclear fission. No signs of nuclear fission. Good to know. Omega energy. All information is classified. There are no omega molecules. What are omega molecules? She's asked. Polaric ions. So, there are no polaric ions. Now the next one is triolic waves. Scan for triolic waves. Picking up a large concentration of triolic waves centered around the bridge. They're harmful to humanoids. They'll not be able to be in the area for long, and the Cardassians will be subject to deleterious effects as well. They would not knowingly use energy. I suggest we take a closer look to the dangerous thing that could hurt us. Okay, so the dangerous radiation we're going to walk towards. Just clarifying that for everyone here. Captain is headed for the bridge. I think that thing forgot to spawn. Ooh. All gone a bit glowy. Ooh, who are these guys? It's a weird ghost lads, is what we're fighting. I actually quite like this Cardassian bridge because it has... they've taken the architecture from Deep Space Nine. One of the things the Station Commander's office of Deep Space Nine was above everything because the idea was everyone had to look down in obedience. They've done that here for the Commander's station, so it's right up at the top. Well, guess we'll take on the bigger one. Phantasm. So who are these guys? Well, hopefully all will be revealed. Ah! Well, that was unpleasant. And what I like about this guy, he's got his kind of ophidian cane, this sort of snake thing that he holds. And when we defeat him, the lighting turns normal and that thing kind of fades out. So, let's have a look at the bridge controls. There's no mistaking now, Captain, those were Davidians. Yes, you mentioned them earlier. What's curious though is that Davidians are out of phase with us. Normally we can't see them without a subspace force field tuned with an extremely sensitive phase discriminator. We didn't have that, so how are they appearing in our reality? I recommend checking the crew log. Maybe they were doing something that made it easier for the Davidians to exist here. So let's have a look at the crew logs. So I'll read the captain's log.
Our mission goes well. The Axon has disabled or destroyed 7 enemy ships. I look forward to reporting our successes. The chief medical officer is concerned.
I'm going to actually do a quick tweak of my options here. Music was a bit loud. Right, that's the captain.
Our mission goes well. The Axon has disabled or destroyed 7 enemy ships. I look forward to reporting our successes. The chief medical officer is concerned about casualties. It is his job to be concerned. Mine is to operate this ship at peak efficiency. I have read his report about unexplained deaths and dismissed it. There is always an explanation. He simply hasn't looked hard enough for it. I cannot let his failings disrupt our mission. Gola Dread is looking for men of purpose to assist him. He wants leaders with the will to use whatever means are necessary to free our people from Federation tyranny. If all goes well, after this campaign, I will be seen as one of those leaders.
He seems lovely. Let's read the Chief Engineer's log.
Repairs to the axon go as expected. Running low on deuterium and warp coils. Wish there was more time between battles to debug and patch critical systems. The time is the most precious commodity there is. 4 crewmen down. 1 died in battle with Klingon forces, but 3 others died in accidents. I have spoken to the captain about launching an investigation, but he sees nothing but his dreams of glory and a return to conquest. Unusual spike in triolic energy may be affecting warp core efficiency. Must speak to Triolic and see if his sensor readers have turned up anything unusual.
So that's
Letter
Chief.
from Maja arrived today. She and the children are well, but she worries about me. She wants me to leave the True Way and return to Cardassia Prime. 6 months ago, I would have ignored her pleas. Now, I miss her. And I see no end to this fighting. Perhaps she is right.
And Science Officer's log.
Science Officer's log, stardate 86790.8. My duties on a combat mission are limited, but I was pleased today to have a chance to scan the approaching Griffin's Comet. The comet itself has not been a focus of much scientific inquiry, and it last passed through this sector in the late 23rd century. My scans, however, reveal surprising amounts of triolic wave energy emitting from the comet, as well as detectable amounts of chronoton particles. The triolic waves will unfortunately prevent a closer study of the comet. They are quite harmful to humanoid life forms, and the captain is loath to jeopardize our mission for my curiosity. I have requested the launch of a Class 1 probe. The chronotons are of even greater interest. They appear in instances of temporal disturbances, which could mean that this comet has been, or will be, in the presence of a temporal event. Time mechanics are so cumbersome. I must have more data. But the captain has never had much interest in science. Perhaps I will remind him that chronoton particles are harmful against the aliens who live in the Bajoran wormhole. A potential weapon to use against the Bajoran's gods may be of enough interest to him to divert our course.
So that's what we found out. We best return to the ship. We should return to the Grampian. I'm sure Starfleet Command will want to know that there are Davidians in the neutral zone. These battlegrounds are now their feeding grounds.
Are you sure you found no sign of the Cardassians attempting to open a portal, or otherwise bring the Davidians into our phase variants?
I definitely did.
This is troublesome. There are pieces to the puzzle I don't have yet. Let me do some digging and I will be in touch. Until next time.
So, we'll queue up the next mission. Oh, he's not voiced for this next one. So his next one is, I need your assistance with a rather delicate situation. We have intelligence operative undercover at Rosanna Station. Her astute observations have given us the edge in several critical engagements in the neutral zone. 22 hours ago, the operative activated an emergency subspace beacon. Zamira would only conduct me in this manner if she was about to be discovered by the enemy, or her life was in danger. I am understandably concerned. I need you to go to Rosanna and find Zamira and assist her. Take her to safety if you have to, but don't blow her cover. If you go in there weapons blazing, you may get her killed. I have accessed your logs. It's been quite some time since you've had shore leave. I suggest you visit Rosanna for some downtime.
Until next time.
So I'm going to leave it there. Once again, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. There's much more Star Trek Online on this channel, as well as some other games that I have been playing. As always, please like and subscribe. That does help. And if you want to talk to me, best way is the comments under the channel. However, you can also catch me on Blue Sky at Pieman70 at bluesky.social, or on Mastodon Pieman70 at Mastodon.social, because they don't like vowels. And again, I'd love to hear from you, hear what you think of the videos. Apologies if the sound's still not sorting out. You might have seen me fiddling about with it a bit. Hopefully I will get this sorted as we go. Change too many things at once, I guess. But yes, all it remains to say is thanks once again for watching, and I hope to see you at the next time. But until then, bye for now.